Thank you very much. Hello, good morning, everyone. Okay, my name is Nurul Faizal M. Shukri. You can call me Jai. Okay, I'm from University Science Malaysia. I'm working as network administrator in USM. USM stands for University Science Malaysia. So today I would like to present about my simple question about monitoring Eduroam in USM, Eduroam Telegram bot monitoring. So introduction, basically USM was be introduced with Eduroam since 2014, and we already deployed whole campus campus area with Eduroam, and USM is one of the first that deploy Eduroam in Malaysia . Okay, deploy entire campus. So USM embraced the initiative to share internet connectivity across organizations participating in Eduroam operation. So this solution has since been shared with nearly all universities in Malaysia, significantly improving Eduroam usability and reliability within the federation. So, however, after a couple of years, we've deployed the Eduroam. There's an issue, challenge when staff members face connectivity when they go to other university in Malaysia . In case me in USM, Encik Farhan from Perdana University. So our staff go to Perdana University, then try to connect to Eduroam, but fail. Okay, and most of the time, the report came to us during the weekend. Imagine during the weekend. So practice in Malaysia during weekend. Sometimes we go back to our hometown. We see our father. Then a bit rush. We require to access our notebook because not all area in Malaysia got good internet connectivity so far. So especially in my hometown . Sometimes I cannot. I can get it's 2G connection, just 2G connection from my phone. So it's hard for me to troubleshoot things. So to troubleshoot these issues, to identify failure, proof time consuming, particularly during weekend. Okay, as I said. So then we blast the issue on our group. We have our group in Eduroam group in Malaysia. So everybody looking at, mine is working, mine is working. Everybody claim their service is working. So to address the issue, I've developed the Eduroam Telegram bot monitoring tool in 2018 to streamlining the troubleshooting process. So so with this simple script. The objective is to ensure the Eduroam service availability in USM. So it's always happen when there were event in USM, Eduroam is not working. So it takes roughly 2 hours to identify the root cause, only that the problem is not from the USM. So especially our director, we have meeting, so we have to answer the question. We have to answer why this happened, why we can't connect, especially the top management. So the objective to create a solution where issue could be notified as soon as possible. So to simplify notification, this alert could be reached anywhere, even in the slow network. So we try to make sure our service is up and running 24/7. So what is Eduroam Telegram bot monitoring? It's a simple script to initiate authentication to multiple IDP. It is a solution to monitor radius set process services, almost like on the device perspective. So it's not like radius to radius, server to server, talk to, about their status. Is the server is alive or not? But this one is a script. It's mimicking like a device client. So it's just a simple script, a two-language script, which is Bash and Node.js, and integrate with the EAP tools. So Node.js, this one is we use to server-side security language, used to receive message and act based on the message received. So this one we can give a command from our Telegram. So then we use bot API Telegram. So bot API known as the bot father. Ask him to create and manage your bot, communicate with the bot via API Telegram. Then this is the core of the things. This actually is a RED AUP test. RED AUP test actually is a Nagios compatible shell script used for testing Redis server by EAP. It's eternally use EOPOL test to do the actual testing. So I integrate the output command and then send back to the Telegram. So how the solution works? Currently in Malaysia, the script is located in the left server. Sorry, excuse me. So when we test the script, when the script run, then the script will send the authentication to service provider USM and service provider UMT. UMT is University Malaysia Terengganu, to the both server, and then pass to an arrow, then to the IDP of the targeting account, the targeting identity. So this is kind of the result. If you can see here, this is from Telegram. Like I said, the first one is overall. This is a command overall that I specified in the script. So when I take overall, then I can list which server is okay, which one is not okay. This is from IDP USM.my perspective. There's another one is IDP UMT perspective. So I can cross-check either my server is okay or not. So the other one is authentication specifically to the particular universities. For example, authentication to UM, as you can see, this one shows the detail about certificates, when the certificate expired. This is most the common thing, Apple, certificate expired, IDP service is not up and running. So this is common thing. So, so conventionally did not realize that the service is actually down on most administrators because they believe all network administrators they have another focus to take a look. So sometimes they didn't realize that Eduroam is not working. So and the second is fail to acknowledge and respond to the issue promptly. And the third one, not all administrators can open up the web portal to check the things. Either the server is up or down. So most of the time, perhaps they do, perhaps only 3 times a day. So currently, this university participate in the service. So we have USM, UITM, University Technology Menara, UMT, UPM, University Malaya, UKM, Perdana University, Unimed, I think 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, how many? 3, 6, 3, 6, 3, 6, 18. So 19 university participate in this service so far. So actually, it's just a simple script. Sorry, yes, Haji Farhan.
One more, the Polytechnic and Community.
Okay. So currently, Polytechnic is not included yet. So coming soon, hopefully.
One is 144.
Yes, hopefully. So this is only higher education, universities. So we can go further to Polytechnics and KK. Okay, I think that's all. My presentation. Yes, any question? Yes. Yeah, Prof.
Is the tool available publicly?
So far, it's not documented well, and it's not shared publicly. Yes, not. Yes, I have planned to release it, but for the future work, I plan to make it. I think this is very simple. Actually, this script is just created for my use. But it seems that it's sent to multiple universities, then I have to secure everything because they involve redagging the password and things like that. Mutual understanding between UA who want to participate in this service.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Documentation takes a
Yes.
longer time.
Yes, Daddy? Yes.
Okay, thank you, Jai.
Yes. Oh, that's all right? Okay, thank you.
Okay, next we have Farhan.
Okay, Terry. All right, so with me again. So today I would like to present Eduroam as one of Federation service. Okay, so a bit about Eduroam. I think just in case if you heard Eduroam for the first time. So basically Eduroam is a federated Wi-Fi roaming service that allow a user to access Wi-Fi services at the visited organization or even at some public places by just using their home organization credential. And it recognized by one SSID, Eduroam. So whichever you go, when you see there is Eduroam SSID, all with the lower letter, then you should be able to use your um, uh, home organization credential to access the Eduroam. But the catch is your organization must be participate in the Eduroam as well. Only then you can use it. Okay. As for example, in this conference, there is Eduroam SSID. So whoever has Eduroam credential, then they can use to access the network securely. All right. So even though it sounds beautiful, it sounds nice, but Eduroam still a challenge for those who managing the service at the back end. Okay, so managing Eduroam service, particularly the IDP, Eduroam IDP, which is the radius server, can be a non-trivial task. Okay, because particularly in an organization that doesn't have expert in setting up radius service or have limited number of IT staff. Okay, for example, in Malaysia about 2 years ago, 2 years this year. So last year, we had a project to enable Eduroam service at 141 polytechnic and community colleges in Malaysia. So for polytechnic, maybe not that a major challenge, but for the community colleges, it is. Because not all community colleges has a dedicated IT staff. Even if they have, they're not really familiar with this advanced IT setup, enterprise setup. So another issue is that the current infrastructure setup is not ideal to run Eduroam IDP or the radius server itself, such as doesn't have or only have limited public IP, because in major implementation, in most of the implementation, that the NRO need to trust the IP address where the authentication coming from. So means that it require a static IP, but not all has it, or they don't have enough servers or unsupported user database or directory, or many issues on the infra. So to overcome this situation, we at SIFULAN, we provide Eduroam as a service to help the organization to participate in Eduroam without having to think too much about the complexity to run the Eduroam service. So the idea of Eduroam as a service basically to offload the complexity of operating Eduroam infrastructure to the federation operator, to us, and they just need to configure the Wi-Fi access point, usually using a Wi-Fi controller or at each individual Wi-Fi access point, point to a centralized radius server for the authentication, which is usually, this is rather easy task, one time, does it, unless if they change the IP address, then it's another story. So currently, this service is used by more than 120 institutions in Malaysia. So I think there was a presentation from Paul Dekers a few years ago. Suddenly we are on the top and the get Eduroam service users. So actually it's true, it's more, it's a lot. Okay, So the Eduroam as a service that we offer consists of two main components. Number one is the onboarding portal, which perform user authentication by using identity federation. And second is to create user credential and also network profile for the device. So we use the pseudo credential to access the Eduroam service, which is in form of digital certificate. Why using pseudo credential? Because when we implement Eduroam in Malaysia about 2014 means what, 11 years ago, more or less. So we had a challenge that with some devices, particularly Windows, at the time only support limited password hashing formats. So it gives us some trouble at the time because many university, if they're using LDAP, they only store in either MD5 or CRIP format. But then after a few years only, then we realized that there is a supplicant that we can use from Eduroam CAT. But we are still new at that time in 2014. So, and then the second component is the Radius server itself. So it performs user authentication by using the credential generated by the onboarding portal or forward the authentication request to the upstream Radius or the NRO. This is just in case of if there is visiting users to their institution that need to forward to another IDP. So, and also perform authorization to the access point. So for the onboarding portal, we use the Let's Wi-Fi portal from the Get Eduroam project as the onboarding portal. So we connect the Let's Wi-Fi portal with SIFULAN Federation for authentication. And optionally, we can also limit only certain group of users, like for example, student and staff, that able to obtain credential. For the guests, maybe they just use guest Wi-Fi at their own premises. And the end user will need to install the Get Eduroam apps for iOS, Android, Linux, and Windows users to help them install the credential and also the network profile on the device. And the credential generated by the Let's Wi-Fi portal is in form of digital certificate, which is supported by most of the operating system. So far, I never seen if there is a device that doesn't support a digital certificate, and it's valid for 180 days, but it can be adjusted. But why 180? Because typically, because initially when we set up this service was intended for the polytechnic and community colleges, and usually they only offer like a short program, like 1 semester, 6 months. So okay, just set for 6 months. Then when it's expired, then just if they still continue with the program, just ask them to re-log in again to obtain the new credential. Okay. So for the, and then the end user also need the Get Eduroam apps. Is application for safe and easy Eduroam setup on the end user devices. So available for 4 major operating system: Android, iOS, Windows, and also Linux. So basically, the Get Eduroam apps takes the EAP config file generated either by the Eduroam CAT or Let's Wi-Fi portal, and then after that, it will translate that EAP config file into the configuration that device can understand. Okay, so okay, and then for the Radius server. So basically, we just need to set up a Radius server. Any Radius server can be used, but in our case, we use free Radius. Sorry, any Radius server can be used as long as support the Eduroam roaming model. And for our case, we use free Radius, and also it need to support the EFTLS as well. So the radio server should use the CA and server certificate generated by Let's Wi-Fi portal, but this is only for the user authentication. For the outer layer, they can use any production certificate. Okay, the user certificate issued by the Let's Wi-Fi portal and signed by the CA for the particular IAM. In our case, each IAM has their own CA and should be accepted by the radio server. And we can also set additional post-authentication setting, like certain institution, they already separated the network into 3 different VLAN, like VLAN for the staff, VLAN for the student, and also VLAN for the visitor. So we can also set for the post-authentication as well, so that the user will get the right IP address. And also we can set for extended logging as well. So at the institution side, organization side, they just need to configure the Wi-Fi access point to use this radio server for authentication. That's it. That's what they need to do. So for the end user, so this is how we onboard the end user. So we need to create a profile at Eduroam CAT for each institution and redirect them to the Let's Wi-Fi portal. Okay, so we make use of Eduroam CAT in this case. And then we ask the end user to use the Get Eduroam apps to discover their home organization and configure their device according to their organization settings. So maybe there might be slight difference. For example, there's some institution want to have the credential validity shorter. There's some that want be longer, and so on. Or the user can also access directly the Let's Wi-Fi portal for certain cases, such as if they want to use Eduroam on Mac OS, for example, they need to access the portal directly to get the mobile config file, or if they're using Chromebook, to get the config for Chromebook, and or even if they just, for example, I just need the certificate only, so they can request, make such requests directly from the Let's Wi-Fi portal. However, for the most cases, we recommend the user to just use the Get Eduroam apps because it's very easy. Okay. Okay, so this is how it works, the flow. Okay, so first the user open the Get Eduroam apps. So the Get Eduroam apps will get some information from Eduroam CAT, like the institution name and the address of the Let's Wi-Fi portal. After that, the user will be redirected to the Let's Wi-Fi portal and will ask the user to do authentication using, in our case, using federated login. But behind the skin, actually, Let's Wi-Fi portal use simple SAML PHP, so you can link to any authenticator, even if you want to link it with LDAP directly, also possible. Okay, so and then once the user is authenticated, then the Let's Wi-Fi portal will issue the credential to the Get Eduroam app, and the Get Eduroam app will configure user devices, and then after that the user can use the Eduroam service. This is if they use the Get Eduroam apps for direct access, then the user need to visit Let's Wi-Fi portal and then authenticate themselves. So once authenticated, the credential will be issued either directly to the user, or they can also use the credential issued by the Let's Wi-Fi portal and use the Get Eduroam apps as a sideload to configure the device as well. Second is in case of if the NRO or the institution doesn't have access to the Eduroam CAT. Okay, so this is just a demo. My apologies that maybe the screenshot still use the old Get Eduroam apps. The newer one has a new interface, but in terms of mechanical how it works, it still remain the same. So for the Eduroam, so first they need to download and install Get Eduroam apps for Google Play or Huawei App Gallery due to some API restriction. some Android phone may need to use the older version of the Eduroam apps and install it as side load or maybe outside the app store. So, and then after that, open the Eduroam apps. This is the older interface, but the newer one is look more fresh, but still the same, the flow. So they need to search for the institution. In this case, I take an example for one of the community colleges in Malaysia. So, and then after that, the user select the home organization, and then click next. And then actually behind the scene, it will redirect to SIFULAN Connect, and from SIFULAN Connect to the Microsoft Entra ID. Because for the polytechnic and community colleges, the directory service, we use Entra ID because they don't have on-premise directory service. So here they can log in to the Microsoft Entra ID. And then after that, give the consent or permission to the Let's Wi-Fi portal to use the user attribute. And then also the second approval to allow the Eduroam apps to install the credential and also profile on the device. Then after that, thumbs up, then they can use the Eduroam service after that. So I don't remember how many days before, the apps will remind the user to re-authenticate when the credential is due to expire. I think 10 days before, it will not notify the user, please re-log in to prolong your credential. So for Windows, it's a bit tricky because first need to install the apps. So usually we just ask, okay, just go to Eduroam Cat, and then search for your institution. Then it will be redirected to the portal where there's an option or link to download the apps. And then after that, run the apps. The process also almost the same. And the nice thing is the user interface is universal. Either you want to use iPhone, Android, or Windows, it and also Linux, it looks the same. So the flow also the same. They need to select the institution, log into their IDP, and then give their consent, approve, and then install the root certificate, and that's it. After that, they can start using the Eduroam service. But they only need to do this setup once every 6 months, or if they change the device, for example. Okay, so they don't have to do this every time they want to access Eduroam now. Okay. So for Apple device, also the same. Install the apps, select the institution, log in with the home organization credential, and then allow the apps to configure Eduroam on the device, and then thumbs up, then they can use. But for iMac and MacBook or Apple Watch as well, so the step is quite similar, but in the portal they need to choose Mac OS, log in, and then the portal will generate the mobile config file, and then the user can import it into the not device management, on the privacy and security other profile. Okay, approve. Then yeah, basically that's it. After the profile is successfully imported, then the device able to access the Eduroam. So you can use this for MacBook. Actually, all the Apple device you can use this method, including the Apple Watch as well. So basically, that's it on the Eduroam. But one more thing before I end my presentation, I proudly announced that we have the first OpenRoaming implementation for education institution at Perdana University in Malaysia. Well, probably in the first in the Southeast Asia, because I haven't seen any OpenRoaming implementation in for education institution in South Asia, East Asia region. So now public can get free internet access within the campus using any OpenRoaming credential, either from embedded on their device, or even they can use the free credential from Tokyo Wi-Fi into the institution as well. And we are looking forward for other institutions to provide OpenRoaming service in Malaysia or even in their own country. Okay, the last one I'm referring to Jai for US. Okay, so thank you. Any question? Yep.
Hello, I'm Marlo from the Philippines.
Okay.
Thank you for sharing your strategy
welcome.
on Eduroam as a service. I have two questions.
Yes.
The first one is, what was your redundancy strategy? Since you mentioned you build a centralized Eduroam for all the universities, right?
Okay. All right. So we run the radius using Kubernetes. So means that the high availability, load balancing, everything is handled by Kubernetes itself.
Okay.
So that's the strategy.
So you're spawning multiple instances of radio server or just one? Or
Because we enable the horizontal pod autoscaler.
Okay.
So when the traffic is suddenly high, then it can grow, but when slow, then it reduces again.
Right.
But it doesn't, because like this, because in EFTLS, there is no requirement to talk to the back-end database, like LDAP, for example.
Yes.
Means that the radio server can decide immediately whether to give access or not. So the load is much lower at the radio server. So at the moment, even with a single instance, able to support 141 institution accessing. And if I turn on the debug mode, it's like raining the log. Even so hard if there's a issue to troubleshoot.
Okay. Thank you.
Welcome.
Kubernetes, I see. Number two, it's not a question, more on, I'm just curious about your experience in managing this this radio server, since I think it's hard to troubleshoot. This is because if you have a university that that has not working, their Eduroam is not working, they have to notify you first.
Yes.
Instead of yourself.
Okay. All right.
Can you
so
share with us some experience?
my first question to them is, number one, is it affecting all the users or only certain users? If said, only certain users, must be device problem. Cannot be, okay? But if affecting all the users, okay, that's problem. Okay? And because of their all the institutions sharing the same radius server, then I also can cross-check whether another institution has same problem as well or not. Or for quick analysis, I just use Jai's tools. Okay, let me see, get Eduroam, is it okay or fail? If okay, all right, so it could be like an isolated issue. So then we trace back from there. Based on my experience, the most issue that I got, the user forgot to renew the certificate. Or maybe there's a new discount, they buy new phone, right? Then they forgot that to reinstall the Eduroam again. And another issue that we got is with the compatibility of the new Eduroam apps with the Android phone, particularly because of the changing in the Wi-Fi API. That's the issue. Other than that, it's quite autopilot. Okay. So the key is for operating Eduroam service is, once make sure that your radius config is well configured, is run, then it should be okay. The rest, only device problem. So for the device problem, there's a solution for that. Make sure they use Eduroam cat to configure the device. Okay, don't ever try to use manually, because it will give them very headache. Both actually, the user and also the admin. Just use get Eduroam cat, then everything should be fine. Oh, yeah.
So, my question is very simple. So,
Yep.
what is the public key cryptography algorithm that you use in the Let's Wi-Fi portal?
Wow. The certificate
Yes, yes.
algorithm. At the moment, for the server, we use EC, EC. But for internal, still RSA. But we are thinking of to change to EC. Now we are testing to look how about the compatibility with the device. That one for the inner tunnel, but for the outer EC. Okay.
Thank you.
Welcome. Yes, Terry.
So you mentioned that users log in using their Entra ID. Is that through the federation? Is that through your proxies, or is that directly through?
My IDPS service.
All right. All right. So it is actually using SIFULAN authentication to log in. Great.
But because the process is very fast, sometimes we don't realize that it goes to SIFULAN Connect first, then Entra.
Yep. Okay. Any other questions for Farhan?
Do you have any business model for this? I'm asking this because someone needs to operate the managed system.
Exactly. Okay. So usually we bundle it with our federation subscription in our case. So means that for those who want to join our federation, we impose annual membership fee, and usually we include this Eduroam as a service as well, all together in one.
So we are using Eduroam also and supplying as a service to our NRN users, organizations. And we have a business model because it's an add-on service. We have a fixed fee amount for them. Around, I cannot say the exact numbers, but it's for everything in Sweden is expensive, of course. So that's a simple way of saying it. But it's about, say, $300 a month for a whole organization to run it. Not more. And that is in Swedish salaries, of course.
Sorry, there is also a remote question from remote participant. I will read it aloud.
Okay.
On Mac, the renew your certificate message isn't very clear because it is a prompt for the mobile device management system. And he can't share the screenshots in the Zoom chat. I think, is that a question? Or?
The question is how to know?
No, the remote person is me, Farhan. But I was just saying that you said that the biggest problem is not renewing your certificate, and on the Mac, if you do the deploy directly to via the Get Eduroam portal, then you get this error, you get this display message on your Mac that says, "I'm now going to delete the profile," but you've got no idea what the profile is. It doesn't say, "By the way, it's your Get Eduroam profile and you need to renew it." You just get this dialog box asking for your username and password to be able to delete the now expired profile. And that might be the case on other platforms. If you miss the renewal or you're not connected at the time of expiry.
Yeah, usually on the mobile phone that they have forgot to renew. Yeah, because they only need to authenticate like once every 6 months, so the tendency that they forgot or ignore the message is high.
It's obviously worse on a laptop because you don't have cellular data to be able to provision the profile, right? You're in a location you now don't have connectivity, and you need to provision. So if your Mac gets disconnected, you need to hotspot to your phone or find a Wi-Fi open Wi-Fi to be able to provision in the first place.
Yeah, it's a chicken and egg situation, you know. But that's why in Malaysia, some university does okay. We just use single SSID, Eduroam, so don't bother me when you travel. Okay, so means configure once, either in campus, out campus. You just need to use Eduroam. Okay. Yeah, same like before you travel, make sure you have visa, your passport, everything. Configure your Eduroam before you go.
Okay, thanks for that, Farhan. And next we have, is it Hideaki?
Good morning, almost noon, and it's hard to see from here. So today I'm going to talk about building a national secure Wi-Fi infrastructure using Eduroam and the OpenRoaming. So the OpenRoaming is for everyone, not limited to research and education people. And OpenRoaming is temporarily available here by using my mobile router. So if you could try that. And the presentation is on the APAN Slack as well. So we built a nationwide Cityroam system, and it's a federation, a roaming federation, and providing secure roaming system. And we started this in 2018. And later, the OpenRoaming came in 2020. And now we have more than 1,000 spots. And why do we use public Wi-Fi? There are many pros and cons. And some pros, Wi-Fi is at higher bandwidth than cellular networks, and we have autonomy and easier deployment with freedom. So even if you need a cellular antenna, the telcos, if the telcos refuse it, you cannot get that access. So, but the Wi-Fi could be deployed easily. And there are some cons. The first one is low or no security in the legacy free Wi-Fi systems, but of course, this can be overcome. And cumbersome registration here and there. Many municipalities ask you to register, but you don't want to do it. And the unclear privacy protection measures. And the public Wi-Fi is now the social infrastructure. So in 2016, the Wi-Fi for EU's idea appeared, and Europe has begun a project to deploy free Wi-Fi all over the European countries, but this didn't include the Passpoint or the secure Wi-Fi system. So currently, the Wi-Fi for EU doesn't have an open roaming system. And Eduroam, this is already explained. Eduroam can provide secure Wi-Fi system for universities and schools. And Eduroam has a long history, about 20 years. And off-campus Eduroam is becoming popular. And I know that there's some airports in Sweden, Norway, they started off-campus Eduroam in early days. And after the COVID, during the COVID-19, many countries deployed off-campus Eduroam access points. And beside the COVID, many governments looking the Eduroam as an infrastructure. So the Eduroam is a necessary system for education and research. And just skip this. But the Wi-Fi security is a problem. And last year, an Australian man was arrested. Man charged over creation of evil twin free Wi-Fi networks to access personal data. So he put an evil twin access point at the airport and tried to do something very bad. So the security is of course, security affects to the end users, but not only for the end users. From the operator's point of view, the operators need to know who the person is when the person did something bad. And in fact, we received some complaints from some people. For example, defamation or downloading a lot of journal papers at once, and sometimes someone tries to crack into the system. Then, in that case, we have to find the actual person, and in some cases, we need to disclose the information to the authorities. And the security for the society is very important, and we need to suppress crimes such as fraud, and suppress organized crimes and terrorism, and disaster prevention and mitigation utilizing user activity analysis. So in case of any natural disasters, Wi-Fi could be used to find people or analyze the people's movement, or during the urban design, the city design, we may use Wi-Fi data as well. And open roaming is for everyone, so seamless connection experience for everyone. It's like Eduroam, but not limited to research and education community. And the open roaming provides advanced and multi-purpose experiences. And this is open roaming is based on Passpoint technology. Passpoint is it was developed many years ago, but now it's available at many places. And open roaming has two policies, and the first one is settled. This is like a commercial roaming system. So the operators exchange the roaming fees, basically. And the second one is a settlement-free. This settlement-free model is more close to free Wi-Fi today, but the security is included. And I think many of you are wondering why we are so successful in deploying open roaming. Cityroam is a roaming federation, and including both Eduroam and open roaming. If a municipality introduce a Cityroam system, then they can have both Eduroam and open roaming and more. And the one big reason it was we developed a roaming federation, and we provided community support. And we established a Wireless Identity Federation Association last year, and now more than 10 commercial operators are participating in this association. And we provide affordable roaming platform with simplified interconnections. So we just put a central hub, and many operators are connected to the hub. There's no complexity like the genuine OpenRoaming system. And we provide Eduroam and OpenRoaming combined architecture, and this is quite useful, as I'm going to talk about later. And involvement of municipal Wi-Fi is worked quite well. So in 2023, we had only about 100 spots, but now we have more than 1,000. And as you can see in the map, Japan is one of the leading countries. And US, of course, Cisco is very strong. And we have some countries providing open roaming in Europe. In early days, some unique sites adopted the Cityroam system, the co-working space, conference center, and hot springs, resort hotels. And if you visit Kyoto, you can find some vending machines equipped with a Eduroam open roaming access points. And Tokyo Free Wi-Fi became interested in this in our solution, and they adopted Cityroam system. They say open roaming, but in fact the system, the backend is Cityroam. And as you can see in the map, there are many access points, so, except the imperial paths. And around the Tokyo station, you can find many access points. And one of my favorite places is Hakodate in Hokkaido area. They adopted our Cityroam solution, and you can use the Wi-Fi. You can get on Eduroam or open roaming at the tram stops at the airport, and footpath. You can study there. You can do any research. You can read technical papers while you're taking footpath, or maybe you can. We can get a meeting there. And Osaka Free Wi-Fi has just adopted our solution as well, and the strategy is a bit different from Tokyo's case. The initial deployment focuses on public transport, including airports and the train stations, and even on limousine buses. The buses are moving, access points are moving, and if you see WIGO map, you will see the map, access point map, messed up with these limousine buses. And we are going to have an expo in Osaka, so that's why Osaka decided to deploy access points focusing on the public transport. And the combination of Eduroam and open roaming worked quite well. Eduroam has a matured autonomy and virtually monolithic. If you see Eduroam SSID, you're supposed to be able to join the network. But this is not true on open roaming. Open roaming is a bit colorful, so some access points may accept you, but others may not accept you. It's up to the operator. So this is not a good. This won't provide a good user experience, but unfortunately, this is the current compromise. And many students and staff are already carrying devices configured with Eduroam. So even if you didn't care, you didn't prepare, your device is automatically connected to Eduroam, our Cityroam access points. And the deployment is not may not look so easy, but in fact, this it's not so difficult. And this is a basic implementation idea. So the straightforward way is to separate the authentication request path depending on the SSID. But this requires two separatist systems from the access points. So this is not so easy. And we developed a system like this. On the left-hand side, you see the Eduroam world. And on the right-hand side, you see the Cityroam system. And we have a Cityroam hub. And each operator connects their access points to the right, the hub on the right side. And the access points are emitting both SSIDs, OpenRoaming and Eduroam. And these authentication requests can be separated by looking at the SSID. Eduroam SSID is fixed, so it's easy to find the Eduroam traffic. And access analysis shows how useful this combination is. The municipal Wi-Fi profiles have become popular. It wasn't so high, but now more than 50% accesses from the municipal Wi-Fi profiles. And SIM-based authentication is second popular. And if you are from the United States, AT&T phones are automatically connected. Unfortunately, my mobile phone doesn't accept it. But while you're walking down the street in Tokyo, your phone maybe caught by some access points. And Eduroam accesses account for 10%. It was more than 75% in early days, but now only 10%. But I said only, but the actual number is huge. So it's very useful. And many municipalities think the support of education and research is very important. So as a summary, our combined deployment is quite useful for supporting education, lifelong learning, tourism, and economy. And many municipalities in Japan have already deployed Cityroam, and Cityroam architecture is open. You can do it. You can do the same thing in your countries or territories. And we have some more work, and one of them is user activity analysis, data acquisition and sharing under user's consent. The details will be presented by SAKANE sensei later. And we are going to push Eduroam to K-12 schools, and we are looking at IoT applications and some other applications. So we need a business model for this, actually, and someone needs to pay for the access points deployment and then, of course, the network usage. And the owners want to know some attributes, user attributes like age group, gender, nationality, language. But we cannot collect this kind of information without user's consent. So, especially for municipalities, they want to know travel routes, analysis of tourist sites, and they want to analyze the disaster response and the mitigation, and of course the urban design is very important. But of course, this information is not so easy to collect, or we may not use the information without user's consent. So in a roaming system, the IDPs and the ANPs are service providers. Service providers are separated. So users sign up at an IDP, but the service providers do not. Service providers cannot see whether there's a user consent or not. So ANPs, access network providers, cannot perform activity analysis or use personal data. There are many rules, GDPR and UK GDPR as well. So we want to develop a nice system for exchanging the user attributes. Okay, that's all. Thank you very much.
I have a question regarding the split. Can we go to the architecture?
It is? What?
No, in your slide there is the architecture of Cityroam and Eduroam roaming model. So by looking at the call station ID.
Okay.
Yeah. So what happened if the access point? Yeah. So what happened if the access point unable or not embed the Eduroam, the SSID name at the end of the their MAC address?
As far as I know, the most access points add SSID, or they are capable of adding SSID by default.
Okay.
And some do not have these, but the recent models can do this because this is almost a requirement.
Oh, okay. Because sometimes in my log I can see that the call station ID, the AP didn't embed the SSID name. So yeah, I'm just wondering what is the solution if that happens.
Yeah, you could insert the operator, call station. You could insert the SSID in the call station ID at the proxy, and then the proxy, the operator's proxy can be connected to the Cityroam hub.
I see. Okay.
There's only one connection.
Okay.
So the complexity is
reduced
within the operator.
Okay. Okay. Got it. Got it. Okay, thank you.
I didn't talk about this, but we are developing a managed system, so managed Cityroam system, managed Eduroam system for K-12, and many schools and universities do not, they are not capable of developing a system or running a system, so the managed system would work quite well.
I have another question from the online participant. I think I have two. How does MAC address randomization impact tracking via calling station ID?
Sorry?
How does MAC address randomization impact?
MAC address, okay.
MAC address, yes.
MAC address randomization. I'd say it doesn't impact it. I cannot think about any impact. The MAC address may stay the same for a short period of time, but we don't care. As long as we use a WPA to enterprise, we can see the correlation between the user and the MAC address. We can keep track the user device.
There's another one. Does any user want their location tracked for Wi-Fi?
Some users do not want to be tracked, but some others want. Yeah, some others may allow the user tracking, and of course the user's movement analysis is not so easy without user consent. So our idea is to take users' consent before the actual analysis. But at the moment, the roaming system does not have any mechanism for that.
So I have more a question for the audience rather than for yourself. Of the NRENs in the room, is there anyone considering moving to OpenRoaming as well as Eduroam? Show of hands would be good, or the microphone to you.
Yeah, I can say, Gar, we are not yet considering moving to OpenRoaming, but we are definitely looking into OpenRoaming itself, and we are considering it as a system And then we will make a decision if the whole community also is moving in that direction. I think there are other examples. Probably also Surf is looking into this, if I'm not wrong. Yeah, I don't know if you want to say something.
So more in general for Surf, which is incidentally my co-worker Paul Dekkers, who's also managing the global Eduroam infrastructure, is definitely looking into OpenRoaming. I'm not sure as such for Surf. At least we have a test point at the Surf office for OpenRoaming already. And more in general, from at least the global Eduroam work we run from the Géant project, is also that Paul and others are looking into OpenRoaming and further supporting that with some manpower. We look into it, and together with Hideaki, looking forward on how that better fits in the whole scheme of OpenRoaming and Eduroam being part of that. In what you say, the basically free, what was it called officially in the OpenRoaming terms, the free versions, offering it as that. So work in progress.
Yeah, the architecture is quite similar. So with the Eduroam.
Yeah.
So, but if the Eduroam is everywhere, people think Eduroam is enough. The universities, many universities think Eduroam is enough. But for example, the libraries accept many residents, local residents, and they need to provide the Wi-Fi access. But how can we do that? So
no, for that matter, I still think that OpenRoaming is very good, because you still can use the Eduroam credentials as part of the broader OpenRoaming perspective. Well, you can also, like this, take in cases where you don't have only people from universities. So I'm really happy you're looking this forward.
Yeah, it's relatively easy to remove a feature rather than adding a feature. So if you deploy OpenRoaming and if you add Eduroam SSID, that's much easier, I think.
Thank you once again, Hideaki. And now we'll move on to the final presentation.
So my name is SAKANE from National Institute of Informatics in Japan. So I'd like to talk about privacy-aware regional data sharing of local user information in OpenRoaming. So especially in this presentation, focusing on privacy conscious data linkage of user information between identity providers and access network providers. So let me introduce our research theme, privacy-aware interregional data sharing of roaming user information in secure and open public wireless LANs. So, and this research project is performed by Kyoto University and Local 24 Incorporated and Tohoku University and National Institute of Informatics. So in this research project and in OpenRoaming, so an international framework for secure and open public wireless LAN roaming, and develop a mechanism for limited disclosure of user information while ensuring pseudonymity to the Wi-Fi access network provider as the destination with the consent of the user, and enable mutual data linkage between regions, enable mutual data linkage between regions. So this research theme will design a mechanism to collect data that can be disclosed with the consent of the users, as well as a mechanism to share user information among regions while respecting the privacy. And also conducting the demonstration experiments of mutual data linkage in multiple regions to test whether data linkage and the privacy protection restriction can lead to a solution to regional issues such as tourism promotion. This slide shows describes WBA OpenRoaming. OpenRoaming has been launched by WBA Wireless Broadband Alliance has in March 2020 as a framework for international public Wi-Fi roaming based on the Wi-Fi certified passpoint standard. And Cityroam Cityroam was mentioned by in detail by Goto Sensei, and of course led by Goto Sensei of Tohoku University, joined as an implementator in November the same years, launching Japan's first open roaming services. And Local 24 Incorporated, which is a member of Cityroam, is now offering open roaming at 27 public Wi-Fi access spots in Japan. This slide shows challenges in maintaining expanding public wireless LAN infrastructure. So, maintenance by mobile carriers from fee-based to free. It was developed in the 2010s as a data offload destination when mobile lines became very congested. But shrinking in the recent years due to 5G investment and competition. And the next, maintenance by local government, which is free of charge. It provides convenience to citizens and tourists in normal times, and as well as provides information and evacuation centers in emergencies. But this has a large cost to maintain, so and also they would like to use it to track the trend of the victims in case of disasters, but and finally, so maintenance by management of facilities, such as commercial facilities, lodging facilities. In this case, it's free of charge, and it provides a convenience to visitors to tourism promotion, but actually they want to use it for marketing based on the user's location, gender, and age range, and so on. So we consider the problem like lack of a mechanism to share user information in roaming. And thus it is inconvenient and expensive to collect personal information by having each access network provider register for use, and also wireless LAN roaming that separates the account issuer identity provider from the access network provider does not convey user information. So and this slide shows privacy protection mechanism for wireless LAN roaming with radius. So first, a user we try to register on the registration side, and after that, user can get an account for wireless LAN roaming. So user visit some place provided the access point. So the user client will access the access point, and in this at that time, called outer identity will be used. It does not use inner identity like that. So authentication request from access point to the Redis authentication server by Redis proxy, and actually, so a user will be authenticated by Redis authentication server based on the inner identity. And then the result of authentication will be returned to the access point. Yes. So now we are considering the problem. So how can we share user information and use it to solve local issues while taking privacy into consideration in OpenRoaming? So we will design and implement and standardize mechanism to share information such as residence, gender, age range, and so on, while ensuring pseudonymity between identity providers and access net providers in Redis-based roaming. Next, we will design and implement a user interface that allows identity providers to obtain personal information with the consent of users when issuing accounts, and to control whether or not to provide the personal information to third party for each access network provider used by the users. So we will develop business use case scenarios that lead to the resolution of specific local issues, and also consider the level of details of user information based on these scenarios, and develop privacy policies and provide the easy to understand documents that explain these scenarios. And finally, we will conduct the demonstration experiment of user information linkage among multiple regions and facilities, and the studies of business model for commercialization. This slide shows the outline of our research and development. So we have two main research themes like that, and privacy conscious data linkage of user information between identity providers and access network providers, and also we have demonstration experiment for inter-regional data linkage of roaming user information. So we in my presentation, so I will focus the first research theme. Oh, I have three last 2 minutes. So let me skip this slide because Cityroam was mentioned in detail by Goto Sensei. So I'd like to talk about the problems with conventional free Wi-Fi. So without the consent of the user, or with insufficient confirmation of consent. So in such situations, personal information will be used or behavioral analysis will be performed and access restriction or filtering will be performed. So what about in the roaming environment? So cases where requests for filtering are made for local government Wi-Fi and Eduroam for primary and secondary educational institutions. In principle, this should be handled on the client side, but it acts on the establishment or enhance the environment for users, safe and security internet use. The user's consent is required to implement site blocking and so on, but there is no mechanism for obtaining consent from visitors. And also, if the policy differ greatly from site to site, the benefit of roaming are diminished. And this for this slide, so skip this slide and because this slide appear in the Goto Sensei presentation. So just no. I'd like to so I'd like to continue my presentation up to 2-3 minutes. Okay. Okay. So I'd like to talk about privacy conscious data in linkage of user information between identity providers and access network providers. The first, so secure sharing of user information from identity provider to access network provider by ladies. This research theme will be performed by Tohoku University. And so let me skip this slide because this content was mentioned by Goto Sensei, and like that. So next, we have the research theme and design of a privacy-aware user interface for obtaining the user's prior consent. And this research theme will be performed by NII. So in this research theme, we will design and develop a user interface to obtain explicit consent when users register or manage their accounts with identity providers by application or web applications on the smartphone and other terminals by presenting not only incentives, but also potential risk to users without concealment. And also in addition to this, so as an incentive obtained through the information disclosure, the same application or the same application will incorporate a data distribution function regarding areas or facilities using Wi-Fi services to encourage users to link their information. So this slide shows outline sketch of our research theme. Left-hand side and designing user interface. So interface design will provide enable to users to manage incentive in coordination with Wi-Fi service providers, and also this approaches will provide an interface that does not hide potential risk as well as incentives from users and then obtains explicit consent. So then privacy protection will be ensured, and it is easy to understand what can be gained by disclosing the information. The right-hand side data distribution function will be illustrated. So in this function, so identity providers and access network providers will be works in cooperation with them. So identifying and access network providers from authentication request and work with access network providers to provide incentive data to users. And also, user can obtain information about the community and the facility as an incentive based on personal information that user agrees to disclose rather than simply using Wi-Fi services. So, first stage research items as follows. So, basic design of user interface for explicit consent. We will research available related technologies and existing framework as needed, and also we discuss potential risk in addition to those related to OpenRoaming and based on the type of data required by the Wi-Fi access network provider and the interface intended use. And also, we will discuss how to present the information in a way that is easy for user to understand. And also, we will survey existing data distribution services for accommodations and so on. And we will organize the finding obtained clarify issues to be addressed in the second stage and prepare the demonstration document for implementation for demonstration experiments in the next fiscal year. So I'm sorry. Let me skip this slide and also like this. Okay, I will summarize my presentation. So, an OpenRoaming-based data sharing framework in which the identity providers collect personal information with the user's consent and shares it with access network providers in pseudonymity. Other area while maintaining a pseudonymity is presented. And the importance of understanding the appropriate data to disclose for solving regional issues is emphasized. And the need to establish corresponding privacy policy and build a system that respect user privacy is examined. So, and for future activities, so we will design and implement a proposal system and formulation of a comprehensive privacy policy, and we will verify the effectiveness of data sharing and privacy constraints through demonstration experiments in multiple regions. And finally, so we will standardize the results through Cityroam activities, aiming for commercialization and deployment throughout Japan and the world. That's all. Thank you for your attention.
Any questions before you race off to have lunch? And apologies for sort of shortening your time.
Online question, I'm sorry. So what is the impact if you don't share your personal information? Is the consent freely given in that instance?
Disaster?
No, it's a question. So what is the impact if you don't share your personal information?
So impact.
Wi-Fi access.
Exactly. Go use your phone.
I also posted my question to the Slack environment if it wants to be answered there rather than make you have to get whatever's left over in the buffet for lunch. There clearly needs to be a benefit for users sharing their information or a penalty for not doing it. And so I don't know why someone would choose to share information unless they were going to be given more bandwidth or something, but they might not understand that.
This is Hideaki. One application is the Wi-Fi access for students at Keto 12, and the student's devices are configured using MDM, and then the user's consent is required. By using the user's consent, the access network providers can do some filtering. So this is just one example.
But I think K-12 should always be filtered if that's a local legislative requirement. So, I mean, no one opts in for filtering. Maybe a discussion to take to the mailing list as this research, develops.
Okay. Of course, I'd like to answer your questions, but currently, so I cannot answer your question. So please send me your question via email. And so I will answer your question.
Okay, thanks everyone for hanging around a few minutes into lunch, and thanks Brooke for your questions through the sessions. We're not in this room after the opening ceremony. We're down back in 417 for PAL's panel session. So have a good lunch, and we'll see you all this afternoon.